So one of the things that I think we could kind of dig into is a discussion we had earlier today, and one that I've been having recently with some of the creatives here, which is that idea of how social media, and more importantly the algorithm, can get you stuck in an echo chamber when you're looking for inspiration.
Yeah, this could go to a dark place talking about social media.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't like wear a shirt that says this, but you pretty much don't use social media.
Right.
And I use it simply because it is a function of delivering advertising for our clients. So I really don't enjoy social. If I had my druthers, I could be not connected to it at all. And it's very interesting that the very reason why I stay connected to it is kind of the reason why you're disconnected to it. And scrolling through, what I find interesting from these algorithms, they're so self-reinforcing. You said it earlier today. I wouldn't mind seeing something if it showed me something new, but all you're really doing is going back to the same old well. And how do you, when you look at social media as a whole, someone might say to you, well, Matt, you're in a creative trade. A lot of creativity goes on social media. How do you square up the fact that how are you going to make something for social media if you're not on that particular social media? And is there a negative to that? And does the positive not being on it outweigh that negative?
Well, it's not the most appropriate positioning for me to say, but often the thing that hits people kind of right between the eyes in response to that is, would you rather buy your drugs from a dealer or a user? And I have experienced a tremendous result by not being on social media as much. Like, I'm still there. I'm still present. I have my avatars there. I'm not a complete recluse about it, but I don't troll it looking for inspiration, because usually what's out there is either algorithm-based echo chambers that I find myself in. So if I like or follow somebody, it is in the algorithm's best interest to serve me more of the same. But also, as a creative leader, I'm a sponge. I do take the role of absorbing culture very, very seriously.
Yeah, and so much to the point where I'm reticent to share a new show that I find. If it's super negative or dystopian, I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I want to share this with Matt, because there's been times where, like you said, oh, I'm not watching that. I can't absorb that much negativity or that type of energy, and that's a real thing.
And what I think it's doing to people like me, and what I'm defining it is the social media algorithms, is that it's encouraging derivative content based on what you see. Because over time, you get lulled into the sense that, well, if I'm seeing this, and this is what my feed is full of in an infinite scroll sense, and you can never get to the bottom of that feed because it's no longer chronological. It's all presented to you as this is the most recent, and this is what's trending, and this is what's exciting. If you're not careful, you can prey on that as a creative and end up just going, well, I guess that this trend is the most popular thing in the world because it's all I'm seeing.
Yeah, this particular silly dance that exists must be something that is incredibly culturally important, and I'm going to try to co-opt it in some way and utilize it. And all you're really doing is sliding your creative message into the cacophony of everything, as opposed to coming up with something that is going to stand out because it doesn't look like everything else.
And what I was afraid of when I first dropped kind of out of that, and the way I dropped out of it was simply to remove my access to it. So all the apps are gone off my phone. So I can't easily get to Instagram or Facebook. I have to go through the task of like the two-factor authentication.
You gotta download the app, you gotta redo it, you gotta figure out how you even get in. And
and I gotta make it a little bit hard for myself. But I did have a big fear, a FOMO kind of thing where I was
so there was a withdrawal almost.
A mega one. It was like, what do I do with myself if I'm not scrolling through Instagram looking at stuff? And how much of that is central to my role as a creative thought leader? What the good news is, for me anyways, is that I've noticed that in that echo chamber of trends, nothing innovative is happening. And so social media right now is kind of a place where everybody's running in circles.
Well, it's like, and this is very true on LinkedIn. It's become a platform for communication via self-congratulation. There's the amount of self-congratulatory posting that goes on LinkedIn especially is mind-boggling. And again, there's some great aspects of it to it. Someone, loses a job and needs to find one. Someone's trying to make a connection. A lot of those things are great, but it's really devolved into some of the other forms of social media where this highly controlled, highly polished version of individuals is being put out there. And the only way that I found to be able to comfortably engage on there is to just do what I feel like. I don't post anything based upon what I think others are going to say or think. I'm just like, well, I feel like saying this, or I feel like putting this up there. Yesterday, Lizzie was at the house in the afternoon, and she was sitting at my computer, and she goes, I want to put something on LinkedIn. And I said, fine. And I let her type something out. I took a picture. It was funny. And, she put down that she now controls the company and that everyone is going to start working harder and she is the boss. So, there's almost 8-year-old Lizzie.
Yeah.
But who's that for? The reality is that's for me.
Yeah.
A year from now, when I see that post again and I smile, like that's
an interesting way that I've seen you use it, is almost to keep a archive of things. And what is, not to be negative about that, I think that's a great way to use it. But when you make content that isn't derivative, it falls into that. The algorithm goes, I don't know what to do with this, so no one's going to see it.
Oh yeah, that's why my LinkedIn profile sucks. I get a few likes and shares and comments and everything else, but I've been putting up a haiku every single Monday. Why? Because I like writing haikus. It's fun. I think I'm middling at them, which I see that as a compliment. And they're eventually going to translate, I think, into a book at the end of this year that you and I are going to collaborate on. But I'm not sure that over the course of posting every single Monday for the entirety of this year, I've received more than like 5 likes. And I don't mean per post. I mean for the whole effort. And if the reason for doing this was getting someone's attention, I would have given up long ago. But I do it because I like it. And I have no other real reason.
And that's the part of it that I don't talk about a lot, but there is a discipline to continuing to do something like that without getting the likes and the follows, and just doing it because you care about it.
Yeah, like I remember, and this could have been 2 years ago or 4 years ago, you you were very busy on Instagram, and I will say I enjoyed this, and it's one of the reasons why I really like that the comic that you do for the website. It doesn't matter how many people see that. I love seeing that stuff going up, and I enjoy it. So, maybe a audience of one is enough for you. I don't know, but I remember on Instagram you were doing 80s and early 90s wrestlers as animals.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved that stuff. So, and I was sharing that stuff on LinkedIn, and I can't quite remember all the interconnections of them, but now I'm going to have to go to your Instagram and look at that and kind of see, hopefully it's still up. I think it is, and see which ones are there, because that was like the purest form for social media thing for you. You were just making this great stuff and putting it out there.
Yeah. It's using it as a one directional accountability tool is very interesting to me. But one of the things that, in talking with other creators about it, people that are also staying out of the algorithm situation, is that these platforms do not like it, nor do they reward you for being one directional communicator, unless you're a verified celebrity or otherwise. To the point that at one point I said to myself, you know what I'm going to use Instagram for? I'm going to use it, just put my stuff out there. I'm going to clear out my feed. I'm going to unfollow everyone. And I got to unfollowing about 150 people, and Instagram shut me off.
Really?
For 24 hours and said, we're flagging this as something that might not be you. We're not sure, but we do frown upon, that kind of thing happening, and you'll be able to log back in 2 days later or whatever it was. So they want everyone to see the feed.
The feed, that interconnectivity. And it's funny because I've been going through the same. I'm down to the J's right now on LinkedIn of disconnecting people. Like, why am I even? I don't think I know you. I don't think we have a reason to be connected. Disconnect, because I've been on LinkedIn. What it feels like for a decade and a half at least, and I look at that, and so I've been deleting out people, and my feed's getting, I will say that I'm seeing more of what I want to see, which is nice. But every time I go on and say, well, if your first name begins with J and you can still see this, guess what? You won,
Yeah.
And oddly enough, a lot of people will comment on that. And there's a lot of J names, because I'm still going through the J's right now. But there's a similar process that, like I said, I'm going through LinkedIn and trying to improve that.
Yeah, because I am interested from a outbound communication perspective in growing, my presence. I loved the wrestlers as mythical creatures. I did a 20 or 25 day self-portrait kind of project. I like creating a prompt and working off that prompt and showing everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, I went back. I'm on your Instagram right now, and
I didn't get hacked.
No, so good. The double-headed Harlem Heat, Hogan as a Hydra.
Oh yeah.
These I am going to screenshot and reshare these on. They need to get back out there again, because I know some of the folks that I've recently connected with are children of the 80s and 90s, and they really love some old school wrestling. So I haven't watched it since I was in high school, so this would have been 99. But I mean, Sid Vicious as a Cyclops is so good.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think two of my favorites, if I remember. I did the Big Show as a Minotaur, and also Ric Flair.
Yeah,
Ric Flair as
what is that?
I think is that a satyr?
I think it's a satyr. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like cloven
horns.
hoof.
I mean, you got the woo. It's perfect.
Yeah, and what was interesting about those projects is it. I'm very big. I am just like I think most people in my position. I can fall into the trap of doing nothing, even though I could, and having little prompts like that, little projects like that, give me a reason to engage. And you know, it becomes a task. It becomes a deadline oriented thing where I'm like, oh, got to put up a wrestler this week, and I always appreciate your response because I know you're excited about it. And that's actually, like, for me, one of the greater ways to justify, not just like, oh, Jim's going to love this, but if there is, to your point earlier, if there is one person, I'm like stoked. And so it's a, using it as a outbound tool that is, keeping me accountable to like a series of things. That's interesting to me. But you do end up, at some point going, if you're not careful, you do end up looking at the returns and going, why am I doing this?
Well, I'd say in the spirit of our creative relationship, I'm not gonna tell people what your Instagram is. I'm gonna say that if they want to come and see this great art that you've put together, get on over to my LinkedIn, take a look at that. Which, just look on LinkedIn for me, Jim Pond, and I'm gonna pawn off all of Matt's work on my LinkedIn as if it was my own. I'm gonna give him credit. But that's been our relationship. Me taking credit for the cool shit you make.
Yeah, and it's a, I have to, because I have this pragmatic side and I have this kind of business mind too, I have to go, all right, why am I making this? And why am I putting it out? And, if I get caught in that trap, I can defer to you and go, well, I'm making this because if not anything else, Jim's going to get excited about it and share it around. And there's something to be said about your excitement. It's contagious. Like, I see it a lot of times when we're doing a pitch where you deliberately don't want to see what I'm pitching before I pitch it.
No, because I want my surprise, along with whether it's an audience of one or many, to match up with theirs. And I also know that, during the, your pitch process, you do like to go through it. You like to kind of have a plan. I like shooting from the hip. I love the excitement of not knowing what's coming and what questions are going to come over and what I say when someone tells me that I have a face for radio. Call out to Dr. Johnston there. That's what I love. And it's funny enough, that's one of the things that I missed most during the past couple of years is just the heat of the pitch is so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't really miss the travel, don't really miss the hotels, don't miss airports or airlines or eating food I probably shouldn't. But the hour leading up to a pitch and being into it, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I think I said that to you a couple of days ago.
Yeah, see, that's just me pawning off your ideas.
No, not that, not that part of it. But the idea that I would pitch anybody anything. Like, I get so excited about the stupidest little, like, whatever it is. Like, whether it served us or not, I would love to do a pitch a week on anything.
Just whatever whatever, pitching Bob NASA on the idea that we should crash a spaceship into a asteroid, or I think it was a spaceship, but close enough.
Yeah, I think it was a satellite or something. Yeah. But I enjoy when we win and it turns into an account for us. But I just love, the practice of that. That's probably why I get involved in all these organizations from like a volunteer capacity, because I just love sharing new ideas. And, if we had a reason, like to the point that I've thought about, using AI, there's an AI tool that will create a brief, like a client brief for you. And it's used a lot in higher ed just to teach kids how to crack a brief. But like to use that to create a brief and then pitch to that brief, like almost just for like, it's like weightlifting. It's just like you're constantly keeping up on it. And,
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it would just be weird and different.
I wonder, yeah, you might be onto something. That might be kind of a fun exercise. Not that we don't have, plenty of things to do, but a fun exercise and seeing what it comes back with and how that would get pitched, and maybe even, maybe we think about this, maybe even have it be, we do it here. We have the first time either one of us sees the brief is right before we sit down, and we have to try and do it,
Yeah. Next time we record, I'll bring that system with me, and you could pick an industry, and then it parrots out what they're looking for and what the reasons are. And, it would be interesting to see in the moment how we respond to that.
Well, there we go. That's our big market tease. Next time up, you get to see that.
Yeah. Let's go now.
Okay.